Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Hi, and welcome to Common Ground. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Ashley Hall. On this week's episode of Common Ground, we head to Terrapin Station in Nevis, where we introduce you to the band The Color Pharmacy. The Paul Bunyan Radio Flyers take flight in Bemidji. Plus, we meet Ron and Nancy Leasman, who create their own wine and vinegars to add flavor to any food, while providing numerous health benefits.
There are two vinegars that we know of in the eastern part of the country, one in Maryland and one in Virginia. They both buy wine and convert it to vinegar. Out in California, there's a balsamic vinegar place, but other than that, we don't know of any vinegars. So we are unique. We have apples, plums, cherries, grapes, and rhubarb that we grow ourselves and use in making the wine and vinegar. Some years we have good crops of plums and other years not so much, but because we have such a range in kinds of fruit, we always have something, it seems, that we can use in making wine. So he experiments with all kinds of fruits. We're not truly organic in that we use purchased fruits from time to time, but we use as little spray herbicides or pesticides as we can. And we really encourage the bees to do their work here, and we don't want sprays for the bees either. The trees here all need to be pruned regularly, and the grapevines need to be pruned. And the theory is that if you prune more heavily, you get perhaps less fruit, but it's larger. But we know people who do no pruning at all and get wonderful fruit. With the apple trees, it's a matter of trying to keep the branches open a little bit so more air can circulate, and you get better fruit that way.
The reason I got started in making vinegar, I was experimenting with taking vinegar for my health. What I found from the white vinegar you buy in the store, it has good uses, but not for eating. So I said there had to be something more. You read about 1800s and things, people having vinegar barrels and prized making their own vinegar. Vinegar has many reported claims, and I have to be very careful because many of them aren't proven. And a lot of people take vinegar. There are cases of people being quite elderly that have taken vinegar throughout their lives every day and claim it's helped them. I have been helped with cherry vinegar. I had knees and hip problems 2 years ago. And having seen the doctor, I didn't have bone-on-bone problems. It was just inflammation. And I take a tablespoon of vinegar a day, and I've continued that, and it has helped. Some of the other reported uses, gout, some people seem to have had results in, and arthritis as well. I think it is good in some respects as a dietary help because you can eat more greens, they taste better. And of course, when you're going to eat that kind of vegetables and things, you chew more, and so you get full with less. The flavors all come from the fruit. The wine is made to a dry, so there's very little sugar left in the liquids, and that comes back as a very low-calorie addition to your salad. I started experimenting first with wine. You have to have an alcohol base to make vinegar, the acetic acid. The bacteria that makes it needs alcohol, and it's just a natural process. All our vinegars start as a fruit, and then I make the wine to get the alcohol. And then I put bacteria into the wine to cause the change into acetic acid. And it's actually a living organism that changes the alcohol into acetic acid. We leave it open to the air. We need oxygen to fuel it. And I have all these vats sitting up here, they're covered to prevent contamination by bugs or other things that are here. And then it's just the natural life cycle of the bacteria itself. It'll grow in a colony when it's working. That's called mother. It forms on the top. It's quite gelatinous, almost like liver. It has a body to it. The vinegars then are all a product of the wine. The flavors that come through are all the flavor from the fruit that started it. So we'll have various vinegars. We have things like apple, apricot, cherry, blackcurrant, rhubarb, plum. All the batches are small batches. So we run through a batch, we're out for a period of time of that kind, and then we go on from there. Vinegars take anywhere up to 8 months to complete. The wine, when I make it, takes up to 2 to 3 months. So from the time it was a fruit, it can be almost a year before the vinegar is ready for use. Some of our vinegars we will steep with herbs and give us our herbal vinegars. Those I mix according to my taste and according to the taste that other people like as well. The herbs that we use to make our herbal varieties, about 90% of them we grow in our own garden here. And Nan does take care and raise the herbs that we use for that.
I've grown 25 to 30 different kinds of herbs over the years and tried a lot of different things like milk thistle and boneset and horehound and some pretty strange sorts of herbs. But at this point I kind of like the ones that come back every year for the most part. I like the perennials, the ones that are dependable, because others are hard to find if they're more unusual. Herbs are really notorious for moving around wherever they want to go. So each spring it's a job to kind of weed out the ones that are not where they're supposed to be and get things back where they belong. To use the herbs in vinegar, we gather them in the morning if we can, because the volatile oils are most concentrated in the morning. So it's good to gather them before the sun's had a chance to burn that off. Gather them up, wash them, and chop them up and put them directly in the vinegar. And it's allowed to infuse for about 2 weeks, and the flavor from the herb goes directly into the vinegar and makes just the wonderful flavor of the herb.
Many of the vinegars are used in marinades, meats. We also marinate vegetables when we stir fry, especially. A little bit of that acid flavor enhances your foods, the natural flavors of the foods, but also it excites your palate. And by then the food that you're tasting, it actually brings out those flavors. We do have a few kinds of peppers. You can get some of that hot flavor without, chewing on the habanero and, having your eyes water and everything, and yet you can have that flavor. The biggest things are cleanliness. You want the fruit clean, you want your vessels clean, you want your utensils very clean. If you don't have that, you'll get contaminants in that will alter or ruin a batch of wine. I want good wine. I don't want a wine that's going to, bad flavors or anything. Now, those flavors come through all the way to the end. After it's ready to make vinegar, then we take the wine, mix it with vinegar and the mother, and set it up. When I set up the vinegar to get started, I'll take the existing vinegar here and harvest it. This would then be poured into another drum. Now this is relatively new. You can see a thin layer of mother on top. This one has a long ways to go yet. The mother continues to grow and can get inch, maybe even 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick by the time this is done. That layer and some of the completed vinegar will be saved and mixed with the wine in this pail to start the next batch. So it's simply a matter of controlling the quantities that we put together. That way the vinegar gets a good start, the bacteria has a good start in producing the acetic acid out of the alcohol, and we prevent other things like molds and other things that are present in the air and could contaminate this. So we just want to give it a good start. When I started making wine, I read a whole lot on it. Until that time, Nan had been the one that actually made the wine in our family. And so the first time I decided to make a wine, I promptly ruined a 5-gallon batch. It was a lesson on how not to, but from there, have worked well beyond that. My favorite vinegar, I would probably say, is the dill in apple, if I'm going to use it as a dip for any kind of salty food or greasy food or on fish. Beyond that, I take cherry daily, and probably would recommend either the basil or rosemary and French tarragon for salads. There are many of them, but those are the ones that I like on salads. People can take these vinegars directly from the bottle. The flavors are full flavors, and they don't have to add sugar and honey and things that many people have added to white vinegar to make it palatable. You're getting a natural product.
There's quite a few Canadians here. See, they got the Canadian and U.S. flag. We've got people here from Kenora, Port Francis, from Rainy River, flying here today. And you see the spouses are all here too. And then you'll notice that we have a boat here, and that's our Navy. So when we have an engine out, we can go and retrieve our airplanes. We say they get 2 landings in one go at it. Touch once, touch twice. Oh. 2, 3, 4.
Keep following the lake and drone, I won't have anybody to fly, right?
We'll take pictures as you go down for the 3rd time. When you walk around here, you're going to see all different kinds of designs. Many of them are original design aircraft or modifications, full scale, that you'll never see anywhere else. But you'll see them here. And we can easily experiment with them because we have no pilot at risk, in design. But there's all kinds of different engines here. Some are on glow fuel, some are electric, some are gasoline, mixed gas. He's down there, that's a mixed gas. We're really pleased with this facility. It's the 3rd year that they've been hosting this event here, and it's getting bigger every year. We have visitors that come here, and usually in the afternoon, lots of kids and stuff, and lots of seniors come here and they reminisce and stuff on this runway. But you see the activity here. We had there's 38 pilots here yesterday, and there's some new pilots today, so I don't know what our numbers are at the end of the day. We'll probably have at least 45 pilots have come through to fly. The one thing about this sport, it's one where everybody wants to see everybody else succeed. That's the big, we're not competitive. We try to help each other out. You'll see if an airplane's got a problem or on the ground, everybody comes to give a hand. And we have enough parts and stuff we can do open heart surgery here if we have to. So when the people come here, it's like a combination of a church social and a camping trip and a family get-together. And we bring everything. We're traveling, some are coming with campers, many of us stay in hotels while we're here. It's a great boost to the Bemidji economy, all the people that come here. There's about 12 Canadians that came here. We've been sitting here for 5 days now. The restaurants and everything else makes a big difference. It all adds up. All these little small groups is what makes a difference in the community. And we're just one of them. Okay, the group there that's been a really good host to us is the EAA. They looked after, they mowed the field for us and arranged the hangars for us, and the mowbirds here for the use of the property. There's a lot of people that worked on this thing to pull it off. The reason that people are attracted to this sport, that airplanes are a part of the culture in Minnesota and northern Ontario. Everybody's used to airplanes, especially the smaller stuff, you know. But it's not like in a big city you're watching jets go by at 30,000 feet. It's very hands-on here.
Hi, I'm Brian Skinnis, owner of Terrapin Station in Nevis. This has evolved into a music, art, and wellness center. I started in 1993 with essential oils, and the reason that I got started with essential oils was a concept called aromatic omnivision, which is a harmonic synergy of sound, light, and aroma capable of leading the mind through archetypal states of consciousness by tuning brainwave frequencies. And so it's just grown up around us, a piece at a time. And it's amazing how it's grown into this, where we're doing the live recording. It's just a thrill. Well, the building was falling apart. It was the old county garage back about 100 years ago. And in the 50s, it was turned into a Gamble's store. And the kids of the person who did that, they had it, and it just kind of went downhill. They tried different things with it. It was 6 years ago that I bought the building, and we really had to kind of reclaim it. We fixed the roof because it was leaking, put in new ceiling, the wood ceiling, which is excellent for the acoustics. And it's the best condition that it's been in since we started. A year ago, I moved up front with our guitar shop and everything. After the first year, we took out the wall that separated the hallway from the main sound area and reoriented the stage so that we could open up the whole area. And just here recently, we added subwoofers, so it's always a work in progress. I'm a deadhead from way back, you know. I used to go around this part of the country with following the Grateful Dead around, and Terrapin Station is an album by the Grateful Dead, and so that's why we came up with the name. Terrapin Station is a music, art, and wellness center, and so our offerings all come under that umbrella. We have, of course, music, live music. We also sell music up front. We have musical instruments. My wife is an artist. We have art in the back, and the whole place has kind of got an artistic bent to it. And the wellness, my wife is a massage therapist, and our core business is actually essential oils and aromatherapy products. That's what brought us, even to do any of this. That's really our foundation. Yeah, one thing that's unique about Terrapin Station as a live listening room is that we don't have a liquor license, we don't serve alcohol, and it's a very family-oriented environment, which is good in a couple of ways. One is the sound as far as recording, everyone's really paying attention and it's not loud, but also we'll get moms and kids, all ages, dancing on the floor, which is a very special situation to have here. Terrapin Station, as far as being in this community, brings a lot of things that would normally not be found in a bar. A lot of times in a bar, you've got people that are coming because they want to get out a night on the town, and music is really more on the side. Where here, music is the reason people come, and we feature original music. And musicians from all over love to come here and play because they play their original music. People are paying attention, and we get great recordings because it's not a loud talking environment. When we first started with finding musicians up in this part of the country, I had no idea how to really find live musicians, so I did an internet search and found some local people and started inviting them. And before the first year was over, I heard tale of Charlie Parr out of Duluth there, and I recognized that name, and I thought, wow, I'd love it if he came over, and he finished our first season. And what it started to happen was we had people from, we had one guy from Ohio that called and said, I'd really like to come up and play. And I was like, Ohio, that's a long ways away, and we don't have a big budget or anything. And he goes, well, I saw your place and it really looks like a cool place to play. So I was like, okay. And next thing you know, people from Georgia, people from California, and then I realized, people are traveling through all the time, and so we're capturing more people than I would have ever expected that would play here. And being able to meet really great original artists has just been so much fun. We've had Enchanted Ape, Absolute Groove out of the cities. We had Daredevil Christopher Wright out of Wisconsin area. We just had a number of great people. And the Color Pharmacy, we got in touch with just here in the last couple of months and really enjoyed their material and thought, well, it'd be great to have them up, and so that's who's playing tonight.
So Amy wakes to find ghosts who know her name, but if we invented time, then everything must die for anything to survive. So Amy stays between two fates. But if we invented time, then everything must die for anything to survive. For anything to survive, everything must die for anything to survive. Oh, oh. So Amy saved from shadows for hurricanes in the home the Father made. Amy grows and grows and grows a fire to take. It's all the same. 'Cause if we invented time, then everything must die for anything to survive. For anything to survive, and everything must die for anything to survive. For anything to survive, everything must die for anything to survive.
Well, what I would like to have people understand about Terrapin Station is that we're constantly evolving and just trying to really pursue the art of good quality music and sharing it and developing a network of people who are really interested in the art of music and the art of art. I mean, putting it all together. And every year something happens that I would not have expected to happen. It seems to blossom in one extra level, and so I think anybody who's interested in live original music and people that are really serious about their art, especially their original music, should really connect up with what we're doing. There's room to come and listen. There's room to purchase albums from the bands. We have a lot of YouTube videos that are up there, and we're really trying to support original music. Not just with a place to play and some money for the night, which we split the door, but the YouTube videos that we have up, I think really helps. They can attach to that and spread the word about what they're doing. I would love to see Terrapin Station develop into, in addition to just the original live music listening room, I want to expand into the recording even more so. Just really, take it up every step of the way, try to get better equipment as we go, get more people involved. Having you guys here, this is just fantastic. I mean, really, I'm sitting back there thinking this is kind of a dream come true. This is sort of a peak experience to have you guys here and have recording with the Color Pharmacy.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed the show, and we look forward to seeing you next week right here on Common Ground. If you have a segment idea for Common Ground pertaining to North Central Minnesota, contact us at legacy@lptv.org or call us at 218-333-3022. To view this episode or any Common Ground segment, visit us at lptv.org/Common Ground. Individual segments or copies of Common Ground, please call 218-333-3020. Common Ground is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. If you enjoyed this segment of Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground, consider making a contribution at lptv.org.